Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Garland over here.
Oh.
Do you want additional time to answer the chairman's questions or comments?
No, I've answered. We do not. If there is, it is the policy and the practice. If somebody has a complaint about whistleblowing, to go to the Inspector General. That's why the Inspector General is investigating it. The memorandum that the Inspector General issued does not say he concluded that anybody retaliated against anybody.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit for the record a Wall Street Journal article that appeared yesterday, June 3rd, titled Merrick Garland, 3 Special Counsels in the Justice Department Under Fire. And Mr. Garland, I'd ask you after this to go back and read this article. It talks about your long and distinguished career. I think the article really summarizes it by, open quote here, a sentence. It says, Garland has been driven by one mantra, follow the facts and the law, close quote. It's about your commitment and your history to the rule of law in this country. Thank you, sir. Today we're talking about a lot of issues, very important. This is our job, oversight. If I pull back a little bit, think about what people back home care about. They care about safe streets, eliminating drugs, harmful drugs from our streets, consumer protection. So I'm going to ask you, can you talk a little bit about your actions, the efforts of the Justice Department to reduce violent crime in the United States, and more specifically, how you work with our local sheriffs, our local police department to reduce violent crime in our streets?
Yes, that is an important part of our obligation to protect the American people and America's communities. In 2021, soon after I became an Attorney General, I saw the statistics regarding the spike of violent crime that happened during the pandemic, and I knew that it was important that we do everything we can to drive that number down, both for the protection of the individuals who are hurt, but also for the people's sense of security in their communities and belief that the system will work on their behalf. So we issued a memorandum directing the strategy that we know worked and that worked in the last time I was in the Justice Department when I was a drugs and guns prosecutor, and then again when I was a prosecutor in Maine Justice. We cooperate with, we create task forces with our state and local law enforcement partners, sheriff's offices and police departments, so that the federal government can bring the benefits and advantages it has, sometimes money, sometimes technology, sometimes better statutes. And the sheriff's deputies and the officers on the ground can bring their knowledge of the community and their knowledge of the bad actors. So we can take the most dangerous criminals off the streets, the repeat shooters, those who are responsible for violence, the people running in gangs that cause violence, that we can bring cases both against individuals and against criminal organizations. That strategy.
If I can interrupt, you only have a minute and a half left.
The strategy has been successful. The homicide rate last year went down, higher decline than in 50 years, and it is again going down this quarter by somewhere between 18 and 20%.
Thank you for that good work. You know, we talk about getting fentanyl off our streets, something very important to both sides of the aisle, everybody on Main Street. And you mentioned in your opening remarks that you put away head of a Sinaloa cartel, one of the kingpins there, drug pins. I sit on Homeland Security, and we know one way to get there is to take down these cartels, put away the leadership. Can you explain a little bit about what else you're doing to go in that direction, to get these, what I would call terrorists, drug terrorists? How do we put them in prison, get them off the street so they won't be organizing and selling drugs, fentanyl, in our country?
So the DEA has done extraordinary work worldwide in order to track these cartels and to provide the evidence that has led to the indictments of the Chapitos, the sons of El Chapo himself, and as I said just last week, the chief Sicario, the assassin and protector of the Sinaloa cartel. I've traveled to Mexico several times myself. My deputy has traveled several times herself. The DEA group has gone as well to persuade the Mexican authorities to make extraditions in these cases. Specifically with respect to El Nini, I made the necessary calls. My counterparts agreed, and they arranged for his extradition to the United States.
Thank you, sir, and I hope you continue the good work. Chairman, I yield.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Arizona is recognized for unanimous consent.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a few articles. One is the full transcript of President Joe Biden's interview with Time.
Objection.
Town Hall talking about the transcript from Biden's interview with Time is a mess.
Objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.